Who are the best and worst Pro Football Focus graded players from the Bucs Week 1 win versus the Atlanta Falcons? Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. I thought it would be pretty fun to take a look at the advanced metrics today and discuss the top and the lowest players from the Bucs on offense, defense, and special teams from their Week 1 win versus the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go ahead and firstly dive into the offense. Right now, in terms of overall offensive grades, your best player was actually Ben Bredeson playing center with an offensive grade of 71.6. In terms of the pass blocking grade, he was at an 80.6. That was number one on the team as well. In terms of run blocking, he was the second best player on the team, only behind Payne Durham. That's very interesting to me because I thought, and I agree with it, I thought that Ben Bredeson played his freaking tail off in week number 1 here for the Bucs. And in a situation where you literally had 3 offensive linemen changing positions to start in this game, it was very encouraging. I thought Bredeson really showed up as a center in this game. You also had Graham Barton at left tackle and Mike Jordan at left guard as well, but Bredeson really was the highlight of this new formationed offensive line for the Bucs. He really did impress in my opinion. Shout out to Ben Bredeson for getting the job done. You also have Mike Evans as the second highest graded offensive player in this game. No real big surprises there. In my opinion, he was able to show up and do some really, really good stuff as well. I'd love to be able to there we go, golly. But Mike Evans was number 2 there for the Bucs in terms of his offensive grade. Real quick before we dive deeper into that, though, I do want to say shout out to Sleeper, the proud sponsor of this channel. If you guys use the code MrBucs, you get a $100 deposit match up to $100 when you do use that code. Guys, Sleeper is the #1 sports app on the market right now. Make sure you guys download the app and enjoy sports the way it was meant to be. That is together with chatting with one another, downloading, and having the most up-to-date news and statistics and everything that you would want to enjoy football. So thank you again for Sleeper for being the sponsor of this channel. Back to what I was talking about. Mike Evans, the number 2 highest graded offensive player for the Bucs in this game. He had a passing grade of 71.1, run blocking of 52.2. Obviously not great in that scenario, but he did have a very high passing grade. In terms of the third player, it's actually Emeka Egbuka, 69.8 offensive grade, 63.1 running grade because he did have a running play in there as well, a 58.5 run blocking grade. I thought Egbuka blocked pretty decently in this game. Sterling Shepard checks in at number 4 with a 69.6 offensive grade. Then you have Luke Gedeke checking in at number 5 with a 64.3 offensive grade. Not necessarily the best as a pass blocker in this one with a 58.4 offensive grade. In fact, out of all the Buccaneers starting offensive linemen, Ben Bredeson was number 1. You have Cody Mock coming in at number 3, Michael Jordan coming in at number 2, Graham Barton coming in at number 4. So Luke Gedeke was the worst pass blocking starting offensive lineman that the Bucs had out there in week 1, but he was the second best offensive lineman in terms of run blocking. So he does get credit for that as well. And that's your top 5 offensively. Your bottom 5 offensively, number 1 is actually Tez Johnson with a 41.5 offensive grade. Number 2 is Cade Otton with a 47.5 offensive grade. He was very good in pass blocking, though. He was meh in run blocking and not great in terms of the passing game. Michael Jordan was actually the 3rd lowest graded offensive player today. He had a very, very good pass blocking grade with 72.7, but he was far and away the worst run blocking offensive lineman the Buccaneers had today. I guess not far and away, but he was the worst run blocking offensive lineman that the Buccaneers had out there. Graham Barton checks in at the 4th lowest graded Buck at a 54.5 overall grade. He was fine in terms of pass blocking with a 59.8, but the second lowest offensive lineman graded at a 47.6 in terms of run blocking. And then Ryan Miller checks in at number 5 for the 5th lowest graded Buck in terms of the offensive grades at a 54.7. Taking a look at the defensive side of things, I'm going to be very curious to see how this goes as well. At number 1, you've got Zion McCollum is the highest graded defender for the Bucs in this game, 77.0 grade. He had an 85 run defense grade. That's phenomenal. An 81.1 tackling grade and a 72.8 coverage grade. Fantastic results from Zion McCollum. He got that $16 million per year contract for a reason. It's because he can put out games like this. Jacob Parrish, the rookie, played very well, coming in with a 76.5 defensive grade overall. Run defense was solid with a 70.6. Tackling, not graded a 46, but still a very solid 75.7 coverage grade in there. Antoine Winfield Jr., I made a video talking about him. He was the hero of week 1 in my opinion. 75.4 defensive grade, 69.5 run defense, 82.6 tackling grade, good pass rush, good coverage grades in there as well. He was just overall incredibly solid. You have Levante David coming in at number 4, 72.3, just good in, the main things of coverage and run defense. Tackling, not graded a 58. He did miss a tackle or 2 in this game, so it is what it is. Yaya Diaby comes in at number 5. Hassan Reddick right behind him at number 6. You have Yaya, 70.4. Not great with run defense at a 57.0. Both Reddick and Diaby struggled in tackling, a 33.0 tackling grade for Yaya, 42.9 for Reddick, but they were good in pass rush. In fact, besides Jamel Dean, Hassan Reddick was the best graded pass rusher in this game at a 73.2. Didn't have the best coverage grades, but I don't expect these guys to have great coverage grades. Actually, Yaya was very solid in coverage. He was the best coverage guy today, but he only had 1 coverage snap, so it is what it is. But shout out to the pass rushers of Yaya and Hassan Reddick. Now for the 5 lowest defensive guys, Braswell was only out there for a handful of snaps in this game. How many snaps did he play? I am curious about that. I want to see how many snaps our guy played. He played 16 total snaps defensively for the Bucs in their week 1 win. And yeah, he didn't necessarily play very well, did he? Let's see if we can go back to the grades here. There they are. 38.5 overall grade. Run defense was not terrible. Tackling was pretty solid at a 69.9. Pass rush, again, just really nothing to write home about. Besides Anthony Nelson and Kalijah Kancey, he had the 3rd worst pass rushing grade. So I don't know. Jury's still out on Chris Braswell, but this is not a great start for him. Greg Gaines struggled in this game, just run defense and pass rush as well. Overall, defensively, did not have a great game. Kalijah Kancey struggled in this game, and I feel like I also, just in terms of the eye test, Kalijah did not really show up much on the game footage either. So, again, just struggled as a run defender, struggled as a pass rusher. Hopefully he gets better. Sarasier Dennis, yeah, no surprises that he's on here. He was good in run defense. I will give him that. In fact, he was the best run defender for the Bucs in week number 1. So, and that makes sense. He did make a lot of good plays in run defense. He was just freaking awful at everything else. I mean, the lowest graded tackler for the Bucs, the lowest graded coverage guy for the Bucs. He was getting embarrassed in terms of his tackling and his coverage. Especially in the first half. The Falcons were picking on him like nobody's business. Finally, Logan Hall checks in as the 5th lowest graded Buck defensively. Was fine in tackling, in pass rush, and pretty mid in run defense as well. Finally, in special teams here, guys, let's go ahead and finish off with this. You have the top 5 guys being Ko Keefe, Deion Jones, John Bullock, Anthony Nelson, and Jacob Parrish, as well as Payne Durham tied for that 5th spot. So shout out to those guys for being good special teams players in there. The lowest guys, it's Ryan Miller, Yaya Diaby, Elijah Roberts, Chase McLaughlin, yeah, he freaking struggled. Jamel Dean is in there. Evan Deckers is in there, as well as some of your lowest graded special teams guys. But shout out to Ko Keefe, Deion Jones, John Bullock. They kept him on the roster literally for that reason in terms of special teams play. Shout out to some of these other guys in there as well. But what do you guys think about these grades? Let me know. Was there anything that was surprising to you? In my opinion, not really. Zion McCollum did have a really good game. I expected these 6 guys to be up towards your top defensively. And yeah, we didn't see any of Braswell. We didn't see a ton of Kalijah Kancey. Sarasier Dennis, besides some really good run defense plays, was getting kind of dogged out there. So it's not really surprising either. Offensively, I am pleasantly surprised that Ben Bredeson was the top offensive guy. I thought he played a really good game, but it isn't really surprising that Evans, Ibuka, Sterling Shepard are up there. In terms of this, I'm a little surprised that Graham Barton is down here. Not really surprised about Cade Otton. He really did not have anything going on offensively. He did have one big play that Baker missed him on. Mike Jordan, it is what it is. Great pass blocker out there in that game, but not great run blocking. So a bit of a mixed bag there from him, but that's not necessarily that surprising. You take what you can get there. Little surprised that Tez was the lowest rated offensive guy, but he didn't get a ton of opportunities out there. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this, though. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments section below. One more thank you to Sleeper for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Greatly appreciated. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.